Hi, welcome back to Rohrich Knows Best podcast, helping you become a better and more informed you. So today we're going to talk about AI, and will it truly replace physicians? And I have the privilege of having an incredible expert here with us, Dr. Jesse Goldstein, who's an amazing craniofacial surgeon, who's an endowed professor and the chief of craniofacial surgery at the University of Pittsburgh. And you know, I've known Jesse from afar for a long time, but then we shared a flight together recently to Hawaii to a meeting, and this guy is fascinating. I mean, man, you're going to see, he is way beyond an expert, not only in plastic surgery and craniofacial, but in all the other things we're going to talk about today. So let's take a deep dive, Jesse. So what do you think about AI? And you know, I remember Elon saying, in 3 years, we're going to replace your doctor. I mean, as a plastic surgeon, it didn't scare me, but maybe as a doctor, maybe. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's scary, especially if you believe Elon, he's delivered on so many things, right?
Exactly.
But for those who are fans of Elon, like I know you and I are, there's Elon time, which, it doesn't quite go exactly to schedule. So first off, I think, we're nowhere near AI replacing doctors.
Okay.
I don't think AI is ever going to replace doctors. But I think AI is going to be, if it isn't already, a critical tool to help us take care of patients better. And I think maybe your listeners will be comforted to know that you and I are in agreement in this.
100%.
Yeah. So if you think about AI, it's been around for decades, right? The first AI type tools were focused in machine learning. How do we learn more from the data that's out there? And, computers were barely, more than calculators at that time. But AI is just obviously in the past several years just taken huge leaps, especially since OpenAI released its ChatGPT protocol, which I think was in 2021 now. But if you think about it, if you take a step back, AI does a couple of really good things very well.
Yeah.
It finds patterns, it crunches data really, really quickly, and it's a really good listener and synthesizer. And so I'm really excited for AI to be, a thought partner for me as a surgeon, someone who is helping me, take stock of the increasingly vast troves of knowledge that's out there, helping me handle documentation and other things that I think have a tendency to take me away from my patients.
Right.
And instead, it's giving me an opportunity to spend more time face-to-face with my patients and doing the things that I think only doctors can do.
Yeah. No, I like what you said about don't worry. And I agree. We all love Elon, but I don't think it's ever going to replace a surgeon. I mean, maybe some specialties to a great degree, but it's going to make us more efficient. And medicine is always a late adapter to technology. Now, you are not, and that's one of the reasons I love having you on, because you are way above that. So tell us how you use AI as a plastic surgeon, as a craniofacial surgeon, but also as an academician, because to me, all the things you said are right. It just kind of fasts forward everything and synthesizes all the information so much better, so you can be a better plastic surgeon.
Yeah. Well, how about this? How about I just tell you how I've used AI today?
Right. Okay, do it.
So today I had a clinic day.
Okay.
I was in the office and I was seeing a bunch of really complex patients. And so I was using a program called Abridge, which is an AI scribe. It was developed at the University of Pittsburgh, but it's really widespread. And unfortunately, I do not have any financial interest in this program.
It's called, what is it called? Abridge?
It's called Abridge. It's essentially an AI scribe. So I put it on my phone. I put my phone in my breast pocket, and I walk into the room and I have a conversation with my patient. I don't need to take notes on a piece of paper. I don't need to face a computer. And I know that this tool, powered by AI, is going to be listening, it's going to be recording, it's going to be synthesizing. And then when I leave that room, I push a button and it's got a note for me.
Wow.
And the note is written, that is, I think, a really critical and great example of how AI is going to empower us as surgeons and really affect your listeners, our patients, and improve the care that they get from their doctors.
Can I ask you, okay, first of all,
Sure.
how accurate is that? And also, do you tell the patient?
So very good question. I started telling the patient when I first started using it, hey, I'm going to be using an AI scribe so I can pay more attention to you. But now we have signs posted in the rooms and things
Right.
like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't explicitly say it, but it's really part of my practice.
Right.
It's very accurate, I
Sure.
think, and it's only going to get better. So like. If you've ever used Epic or some other electronic medical record, we all hate it. But you know that when you dictate into that as opposed to some other program, it knows medical terms. And so it kind of is a little bit more accurate. You still have to read through things. And I usually tell people that AI, for whatever you're using it for, the other thing that I did today is I wrote an email using AI. It'll get you 80% of the way there.
Right.
And maybe the more it knows about you, the closer it'll get you to your finished product, but it'll get you 80% of the way there. And so I would say the AI scribe gets me maybe even further there. But if you contrast the note that it created with the note that I would have done on my own, it's a lot more profound. It's much better.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, I've actually used ChatGPT intermittently, but I'm definitely going to get that because it's very powerful. And also, patients know that they're getting accurately recorded, and you're talking about things that are of concern to them because it also hears them, correct? And it also incorporates them, which is very powerful.
Yeah. I know in Texas you have a lot of Spanish-speaking patients. I'm from California originally, so I speak Spanish. And guess what? I had a whole visit in Spanish, and it translated my note into English so that I could put it into it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I think your reaction is my reaction to a lot of the world of AI right now. It's just so interesting, and I'm always kind of tickled at what it can do.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it just is so time efficient because the one thing that we can never get back is time, and you're right because I can tell you, so many patients complain because when they go to their doctor, what do? They don't look at them. They're especially because everything is Epic. Nothing is Epic, but I've used it for decades. They would just be banging on that, and not looking at the patient. And now you can transform that, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I agree.
So what else did you do that helped you become better? That's a great thing.
Yeah. So I think we talked about this on our wonderful flight together in May. I am, a father of 4 young children. I run a research lab. I help run our residency program. I have lots of balls in the air. So I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient. So one of the things I wanted to do was, make sure I didn't sound like, a bumbling, what in our podcast today. And so I got onto ChatGPT while I was driving home and pushed the chat button on ChatGPT, and I said, I'm having a podcast with Dr. Rohrich today. I had previously uploaded some data about you. Can you help? Can you practice with me and give me some questions and listen to my answers and give me some suggestions about the answers? And so I used it to help me practice for this very interview. So how am I doing?
You're doing great. An A+. That's amazing.
Okay.
I've never thought of that. I mean, I sometimes talk to Grok in the morning in my Tesla about kind of, getting inspired in the morning, but that's amazing. I mean, it does so many things that, you and I would take hours to do at night, right? After we get home and with the kids and stuff. And so honestly, I think that helps to make us better physicians. And I loved your analogy today on what you did. And so what do you say, could you summarize for our audience on, and not only reassuring them that AI is not only going to not remove us as physicians, but actually make us better, and how that's going to do that. And what do you see that transforming in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you asked me 5 years ago, would we be here today? I was having this conversation about AI. I would say no way. So I think we are in a fast, fast moving field and really a sea change inflection point in human history, specifically as it pertains to medicine. So I'm not sure I can be very accurate about what the future holds. And I think that it's understandable for some people to have some reservations and concerns about that, given how fast things are moving. But I would say what AI does really well is it handles a lot of data. It synthesizes data quickly, and it is able to, in generative form, which is, ChatGPT, other things, help us in medicine be more efficient with our time so that I think we can focus on the patient. It's not going to be anytime soon, at least, doing the things that are critical, understanding patient goals, examining patients, reconciling this conflicting information we get from patients and their records and things like that. And obviously, AI is not anytime soon, if ever, going to be able to look a patient in the eye, hold their hands, and comfort them when things don't go according to plan or when they have a tragedy or celebrate with them.
Beautifully stated, Jesse, beautifully stated. Now, those are wise words from an incredible plastic surgeon from the University of Pittsburgh. Jesse, thank you so much. And you're right. I mean, AI augments our ability to enhance patient care. And I loved what you said at the beginning, and I just want to reiterate it. Now, we can actually get back to make not only high tech, but high touch, because I think high tech took away the touch for a long time in medicine. And I think it's giving us that back today, and you gave us a great example of that. So give me your thoughts, give me your DMs on what you think about AI and the future. So until next time, stay informed and stay educated. And Jesse, thank you so much for giving us the high five on AI. And I know Elon would probably agree with us. Okay.